out of the two-back pistol set, and he'll give up the middle. This is Seth Acta inside the 20, and he will bully his way just back to the line of scrimmage. In fact, he may have even gained a yard. Seth Acta, what's amazing is that he is among the top 5 receivers for the Broncos. The number 2 halfback, plays punt returner, kick returner, and, well, what do you know, even plays a little defense. At the Division II level, we can see that a lot of these guys can play both ways and even play special teams as well. 2nd down and 7 at the 14 of the Diablos. Delay handoff. No, it'll be Kyle Williams keeping outside. With a convoy, we'll just take a tumble back to the line of scrimmage, make it 3rd and 6.
And we already see the body language instantly changing for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the interception. We got to give credit to the blitz from the outside, straight into the face of Brock Johnson. Brock Johnson didn't have a chance. What he had to do was step up. Instead of stepping up, stands there like a target, gets hit, and instantly intercepted by Dwayne Johnson.
Twins to the right-hand side following the interception by Dwayne Johnson. 3rd down and 5. Knocking on the door at the 12. Williams will keep running outside to the 15, outside the numbers 10. And he'll take a tumble down to the 9. That's not what the Broncos wanted, if you will, on 3rd down. It'll be 4th and 2. And do Vista Murrieta elect to kick a field goal? It looks like they will. No, my apologies. The offense is still on the field. They'll elect to go for it.
They're making a statement right here. This is a championship game. We want it.
Kyle Williams still on the field. It's 4th down and a yard. Two-back pistol set for the Broncos, trying to go for the jugular here. Tito Feliciano and Cole Dubat into the backfield as well. Takes the snap. We'll have a false start by the Vista Murrieta offense, the guilty party, Cole Dubat, and we can already tell that field goal unit will trot off the field. Not a ruined possession, as a field goal will cut this Diablo lead to 4.
I'm surprised Vista Murrieta didn't try to drive Mission Viejo off sides, going with a hard count. Instead, they go early, and like you said, Cole Dubat called for the false start.
Cole Dubat, known him awfully well, one of the best track players or track athletes, if you will, for the Broncos. In to kick is Jared Gallegos. He's been 3 of 4 on field goals this year, this being his 5th from the right hash. Kick on the way, has the distance, and it is good. Right down Broadway, the Broncos cut it close. 7-3 our score. Mission Viejo on top with 6:08 to go before halftime.
The Broncos doing just enough. Getting points off turnovers is always a main focal point of any offense, any type of a team. It doesn't matter who you are. You always want to rack up a point after a turnover. Coming away with 3 is a small victory for the Broncos. Now you're feeling better about yourself.
It certainly is a small victory, if you will. What is I guess, the message for your quarterback, Brock Johnson of Mission Viejo? He was picked off 3 times in last week's win over Great Oak. And over the last couple games, this has been a turnover machine, Dan. That being the 7th interception for the quarterback in the playoffs, and it led to more points for the opponent.
If I'm Mission Viejo, I instantly know my quarterback is vulnerable. I want to go back to the run and get him comfortable again. Going to his quick screen passes, just small intermediate passes, nothing too big, nothing that'll get him rattled, Nick.
Well, the man who made the field goal, Ryan Gallegos, he's now 4 of 5 on field goals this year. Will boot it away. 7-3 our score. Broncos trail, but are not out of it just yet. A squib kick angled towards the sideline. This may go out of bounds. No, it'll be recovered by Ibre Book-and-Curran at the 5. 10-15, wiggles 20, and he's rustled to the turf at around the 27-yard line by number 27, that being Cole Dubat. And the Mission Viejo Diablos will begin their 4th possession here in some pretty solid field position with a chance to add to their already 7-3 lead.
I'm instantly interested to see what Brock Johnson's grandfather, coach of the Mission Viejo Diablos, Bob Johnson, is going to call in his first play after his grandson threw a interception his previous possession.
Brock Johnson, outside of that, has been relatively efficient passing the football, but of course the interception does hurt. If you're the Diablos, you had those Broncos stopped as an Ion Senzi run gains about 2. And with 5:55 to go, defensively, I think if this game is within one possession, into the second half, I think that favors a team in the Broncos that second half is their forte. They have come back in back-to-back weeks in the second half. Second down and 9. Brock Johnson operates out of the empty set. 5 wide receivers in the formation. Broncos counter with the dime package. No safeties deep, by the way.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out, Nick.
Takes the snap, does Johnson. Looking left. They rush 6, an empty free rusher, and down he goes. Brock Johnson is sacked. The man bring him down for the Broncos is none other than Jacob Albert, making his 5th sack of the season. It's a loss of 9.
Despite Jacob Albert taking down Brock Johnson, we got to give credit to the cornerbacks. The defensive backs doing a great job playing man-to-man lockdown defense. No room for the wide receivers to even catch a pass. Therefore, Brock Johnson goes down, and hey, some momentum for the Broncos now.
Following the interception, which led to points for the Broncos, the Diablos face yet another 3rd and long, this time 16. The Broncos crowd on his feet. A 7-step drop for Johnson. Screen pass set up. Complete to Allen Sensi. 20. Wiggles 25, 30. Cut back 35. Near the first down. Did he get there? No. About 1.5 yards short. Tackle made by Dubat. And I believe Mission Viejo, yes, they will. They'll elect to punt.
The Broncos gambling on defense, I would say, playing 2 safeties deep, changing it up a bit. I know it's 3rd and long, but it seems as if the blitz has been constantly working. Why not continue to it?
And it nearly, though, did cost you, Dan.
It really did.
3rd and 16, the screen pass was good for 13. It was the perfect play call for a Vista Murrieta blitz. Luckily, though, Dubats was there to bring him down short of the first down marker. Back deep to receive is Seth Acta, as he will retreat all the way back off a real nice punt to his own 10. We'll let that one roll, and Vista Murrieta will begin their next drive at their own 8. And the kryptonite, if you will, for a great defense is the ability here to always kick your opposing offense inside your own end. Vista Murrieta, for 2 possessions, this being now a 3rd, will start from inside their own 20.
And the Broncos don't do too well when they're backed up against their own end zone. It's as if it's a little bit too much pressure mounted on the Broncos, they start to act a little nervous, start creating mistakes. It's just not a comfortable position to be in, Nick.
And for one of the first times all year, Vista Murrieta faces crowd noise and a stadium, if you will, that being the factor. Of course, Angel Stadium with seats, I'm sure, 40, 50,000 people?
It's in the 40s, high 40s.
Obviously, not everyone is filling all the seats, but I could easily contest that there's at least 10 to 15,000 people here today, which is phenomenal for a Division II high school football game. What are your impressions thus far, Dan, for a 7-3 score right before the break?
It's been exciting, but relatively sluggish, I would say.
Offensively, of course.
Right. When you've got 2 offenses that are just in love with the run, we're bound to see runs that go for 1 yard or less. And it creates sort of like a slow game that we have here, low scoring, 7-3, 3:57 in the second quarter. But it makes for an exciting finish because at one point or another, we're going to have to see a big pass thrown.
That's right. And you take a look at, if you're Vista Murrieta, the scoreboard here with 3:57 to go, with how great, at least in the first couple possessions, you're able to run the football. You take a look at that 3:57 mark and think we can burn all of the remaining second quarter and put points on the board. Of course, they're a long way from that. 92 yards away are the Broncos from the end zone, which would give them the lead. It's 7-3, Mission Viejo here in the second quarter. Kyle Williams will be standing from inside his own 5. Tito Feliciano flanks him. First down and 10. Back to throw. Williams looking right. Looking. Chucks it over the middle. He has a man, but overshot his intended target. He was going for the all-star receiver, Colin Baker. And that'll be another incomplete pass for Kyle Williams. 2nd and 10.
The Broncos, they have the right idea. I'm no expert, but it's obvious when you're stacking up the box, a wide receiver is going to be open deep right there. Kyle Williams overshooting his intended receiver. Should have been caught, I would say.
There were 2 Diablos on him, but boy, if he was able to break one tackle, that could have been 92 yards to the house. Williams now on a 2nd and 10. He will keep up the middle, and the Diablos are all over it. That'll end up being a loss of 4 for the Broncos, all the way back to their own 5.
That's the risk the Broncos take by gambling on first down. You set yourself up for a 3rd and long now.
The Broncos continue to use substitutions. They are among, I believe, of high schools, among the most active in the substitution department. We're down to 3:38 to go. Clock is running. Vista Murrieta faces a 3rd down and 13. Here trailing by 4. Kyle Williams operates out of the gun. He's standing in his own end zone. Takes the snap. Williams will keep himself sprinting outside of the 5, 10, wiggles, 15, and he's tripped up right near the first down marker. Did he get there? Yes, he did. On 3rd and 13, the quarterback moves the chains, make it a first down pickup for the Broncos.
How crafty and tricky are the Broncos? They line up with the spread offense, 5 wide receivers. Kyle Williams, he plays it off really well. He's directing his wide receivers, pointing here, pointing there. But guess what? I'm taking it down the middle, untouched practically.
Yeah, why not move away from what works for you? Swing pass complete. That's another grab for Jamie Nunley. First, that's not with a flag down, if you will. That run will go for about a gain of 2. Kyle Williams, the quarterback for the Vista Murrieta Broncos. You take a look at his passing numbers, not that impressive, but he has extremely gaudy statistics running the football this season.
He really does. With 160 attempts, which is a lot for a quarterback, he's over 1,300 yards. And what's most impressive? 18 touchdowns, Nick.
Running the football, which is phenomenal in just 13 games. He is the number 1 most active rusher for the Vista Murrieta Broncos, and he's a quarterback. Williams hit as he throws. He coughs up the football, and the Broncos were Johnny on the spot. Almost a turnover for the Broncos inside their own 20-yard line. Williams better be careful and not cough up the 3rd fumble for the quarterback this year.
Williams better be careful, like you say. But the thing that I noticed the most, he's not the most experienced guy out there at the quarterback position. We talked about it earlier in the pregame, how he was converted from a wide receiver to a quarterback out of necessity. This Vista Murrieta team needed a spark early on, and he's the guy because of his athleticism.
Carl Hartman was there on the quarterback pressure, the defensive lineman. And, boy, Mission Viejo is getting almost everything that they want in pass rush.
Well, they really are. Mission Viejo is just sending a bunch of blitz packages. And what they're doing is they're confusing Kyle Williams because it's not just coming down the middle where you can obviously see it. It's sometimes delayed, and it's sometimes through the sides, whether it's behind his back or right in front of his face. Mission Viejo is doing a great job of mixing up their defense, giving Kyle Williams, a guy who's not experienced, a bunch of looks.
Yeah, well, the Broncos are certainly struggling against the Diablos pass defense, and the Diablos got the message. Last week they gave up over 390 yards passing against Great Oak a week ago, and they certainly have been up to the task today, holding the Broncos passing attack to under 50. Of course, Vista Murrieta isn't going to light up the scoreboard through the air, but this is just a far different performance for the Diablos defensively, now forcing the Broncos to convert another 3rd and 13. Williams was able to keep for a first down last time. He'll swing it out. This complete to Jamie Nunley outside 15-20, and he'll be ridden out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Tackle made by Keith Waite, and the Diablos, what they couldn't do last time, forced the 3rd down stop and will burn the first of their 3 timeouts here. We have 2 minutes and 2 seconds to go before halftime. The Diablos will get the football, leading by 3 following this punt.
Mission Viejo is in prime position to score at the end of this half and then get the ball back in the second half.
Yeah,
so
that's definitely going to be you take a look at the second half, and really, if you're the Broncos, you need extra offensive possessions, Dan.
One of the things I've noticed is how fast this game has gone, already down to 2:02 in the first half. It's give credit to that heavy run game on both sides.
Yeah, moving the chains, keeping the clock on their side. You take a look at a man who, for Vista Murrieta, who has the size, the obvious catch radius. We're looking at the Jumbotron here.
Yeah, we are. This is a luxury that we don't usually get on our Friday nights.
But Jamie Nunley, the number 1 target for the Broncos, committed to the University of Arizona. You see him very early with the 50-yard pass play, then some of these underneath routes. He can certainly make many men miss after the catch.
He really can, and what a blessing it is to have size, 6'5", over 200 pounds, and you're barely a high school kid.
He has even more room to grow. That is phenomenal. Low kick will be recovered by Connor Hill across midfield, wiggles in enemy territory, and he is tripped up at around the 45-yard line. Tackle made for the Vista Murrieta Broncos by Shannon Walsh, making a return to 10.
Now Mission Viejo will try to design something that'll hopefully run out the clock and get you 6 points. It wouldn't be a loss if you come away with just 3 points. Ideally, you want the score because you do get the ball back in the second half.
Yeah, if you're Mission Viejo, you might as well go for the jugular. A touchdown and a chance to receive to begin the second half would be a killer if you're the Vista Murrieta Broncos. And you take a look at that interception that you had that only ended up with a field goal, and you got to be kicking at yourself in what is a 4-point ball game.